Hi there, it's Connie-Rae. Welcome to Connie-Rae's Craft Room. Today I have a gorgeous new card for you as a project, and it is incorporating some of the new products, sneak peek coming in the annual catalogue, available at the end of this month, beginning of next month. I think it's the 2nd or the 4th. Let me just check that date for you. This is the catalogue. Can't show you what's inside, but I can show you the front. Isn't it gorgeous? Let me see dates. I should have probably checked this, guys, but I'll put the dates in the bottom of the tutorial information. Show more. Hit the show more button, it will drop it down. So, and I will come back and put the links to these products that we're going to use today in the links as well, so that you can basically just go in and purchase those online. So this is the front of the new catalogue, and it's always exciting when we get a new catalogue because it's just new products and it's just really exciting, and because they're new, it's beautiful. So, and there are some really lovely things in this edition. I think there always is. If you're a Stampin' Up fan, if you like quality products, you'll always love really new things. So anyway, that's the front. Moving right along, I have got for you, as I said, this tutorial today, and this is using the new Bloom and Grow set. I'll just bring that up for you so you can see. This is one of the beautiful sets that are available in the new catalogue. It has got photopolymer. It's got two lots of two sets of stamps, big fonts in terms of big sentiments, gorgeous flowers. Flowers are my favourite, I have to say. Love flowers. I can never get enough flowers. So I was really happy when I saw all the flowers. This is another one that's actually available in the new catalogue as well. And we're going to be using the sentiment here up the top there with friendly thoughts and best wishes today and every day. This is Floral Essence, and this is another new stamp set in the catalogue. So that'll be available too. So I'm going to be using that sentiment, and there is a stamp that I couldn't find before. You know how they just get stuck on the back of things and you think, what happened to that stamp? Horror, absolute horror. And I've only had it, a few days per se. We've also got the die set that actually goes with the Bloom and Grow set, which is this one. Love this die. I think the die set, well, this is a stamp cut and emboss set. So, oh, there goes one of my dies. Love the dies. This is the die set that we're going to be using, like the die out of the die set we're going to be using. But what I've noticed, and I don't know if it's my imagination, but I've noticed that, and some people like this and some people probably don't even know about it, I don't know, but I've noticed that when I put the, and I'll show you later, but when I put the die set up against the die to actually, the image to go and cut it, it cuts a lot closer than previous dies. I don't know if that's my imagination, or what, but I've noticed that the white outline is nowhere near as big as it used to be, and I don't know if that's me or it's, I just noticed that it was kind of a little bit closer. But anyway, somebody else can probably figure that out. I'm not really sure. Either way, it doesn't bother me. I love exactly what they are, so I'll just leave that aside. So yes, that's the stamp, that's the die set and the the stamp set that come together as a bundle, and you get 10% off when you get them in a bundle format. So, but anyway, you will figure that out as well. If you like flowers, you're going to love that set, I'm telling you. So this is the card, that's the sentiment I was talking about. So we're going to do this one first, which is, I've used my Copic markers. Well, not Copic markers, I've used my Stampin' Up blends and Copic markers because I have got colours already in some of the blends colours. But alcohol markers, at the end of the day, or whatever you've got, you can use. So first of all, we're going to just stamp our image with some memento, because we are using, I am using alcohol inks to actually do this image. So I do want to make sure that you're using a alcohol ink friendly, alcohol ink friendly ink, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to use, in this instance, memento, because this is available to everybody. And I've done this a couple of times, and I noticed that I was pressing too hard, and this is probably a common thing that we all do, like when we're learning or we're doing new things or whatever. I noticed that I was pressing too hard and it was coming up really black, and I don't want it really black, but I do want it obvious. So I'm just going to pitter-patter it, if that makes sense. I don't want to, I've seen some craft artists and they squash it down, but I've noticed with me I either squash it wrong or I have too much ink on. I'm preferring the method of just tapping it like this and then just going back and doing a repeat process, but nothing like, you know, some people go like that, and that's really great if it works for you, but for me, I just don't like that. I don't know, it's like it bleeds into the paper and leaves it kind of a little bit too large for my liking in terms of, I haven't got an example of what I did previously. Oh, I might have, but I chucked it. Yeah, see how that's really dark? I didn't really like that one. That was a failed one. And this one here, see how it's quite thick? Let me get that in. That one's quite thick, and it's probably because I pressed too hard in that particular area. So if you don't want it really thick at one end and not, you know, just go slowly. And because we've got the stamping tools now that you can just go over it until you're happy, you don't have to do it, press it really hard if you're not used to it. Just do it softly, and you will get the image that you want. Even if you don't re-ink it and just go back over and stamp it like I'm doing now, even so, it's still a little bit dark for me, but, you know, for the purposes of this video, you will be able to see what you're doing or what I'm doing. So, yeah, it's okay though. But if you don't like it really dark, you can either get, I don't know, sometimes there is other alcohol-friendly inks on the market, but Memento is what we're using today, so it works just fine. You just got to get your threshold thing happening with it all. So for the colouring, I have used a combination of inks as I suggested before, and I have used these are Daffodil Delight markers, and they are the Stampin' Blends. I've used those two, the light and the dark, and I've also got here the Old Olive in the dark and the light of Stampin' Blends from Stampin'Up, and I've got other colours in my Copic markers which I've had forever. This one is Mauve Shadow, which is BV. Gosh, out of whack with these cameras today. BV00, and this is Cotton Pearl EOO. But what I was going to suggest with the purple, the mauve I should say, you could use your Highland Heather or another purple colour that's available in the blends, and this one is like the skin tone colour, so it's just very light. So, and it's not the majority of the colour, it's just tiny ones. So we'll go in and start colouring, and I will speed this up unless I'm talking or saying something important or mumbling or all of the above. I did want to say though that for people who are new to colouring in, please don't put any pressure on yourself about how to do it. Just go in, and if you don't want to use two colours like the professional colouring in people do, and they are very good at it, don't use two colours, just use one. One colour is fine, a one-layered colour is fine. Alcohol inks and blenders and pens and whatever, alcohol colouring in tools, are very easy to use and probably one of the better options. You can use colouring in pencils, you can use whatever you want, you can do watercolouring, but if you really want a nice smooth way of colouring in, and it's quite decently quick and it looks nice, the alcohol blend pens, regardless of what product, the alcohol markers are the better ones to colour with, in my opinion, for things like this. So, but I noticed that there's a lot of professional colourists on YouTube and things like that, and you think, whoa, I could never do that. And the thing is, you don't have to. You start at the beginning and you do what you can, and it still looks good because they're alcohol markers. So just do one layer. It looks fine with one layer. If you want to put a dimension in, I'll show you how to put a little bit of dimension in. It doesn't take much experience, but don't be afraid to get them out and start colouring and just doing one layer in colour. And then if you want to make it darker, you can also go over that what you've coloured with the same marker once it's dried. And it doesn't even have to dry. You can just go over it. So as you can see here, this colouring is fine. It's absolutely fine. It looks pretty. It doesn't have to have the dimension that some of the colourists have got in there. And it will do. It's going to be a nice card regardless. It's just the way that, you know, you colour in. If you want to get more professional, it takes time. It's not something that you can just get in and do, I'm sure. Because I can't do it. I can only do, what I do is what I can, and I do it to the point where I like it or I don't like it. And if I don't like it, I don't do it. I just chuck it in the bin, really. But, you know, you've got to start somewhere. So that's the light colour. There is the darker colour, and I'll look at that in a minute. And this is the light colour of the Old Olive. And I'm just going to do the leaves in the Old Olive in the lightest colour I've got. And there is particular strokes that you're supposed to do and colour in certain ways and things like that. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It's not something that is going to make your card look worse if you don't know how to do it. So you just do what you can. One layer. That's it. Just like a colouring in pencil, and just go around and colour in like you used to when you're at school or when you're doing as an adult, or whatever it is that you enjoy colouring in with. Because I just say it can be very, like most things, they can get kind of complex and out of control. And it's just like, well, that takes the joy out of it, doesn't it? And that's not fun. You want something that's enjoyable, quick to do, without the pressure of having to be a whiz kid at it. So there's like the first level of it. And see, it looks fine. It looks pretty, and it's just one layer. There's no dimension or anything put in there. No professionalism, because I don't have a professionalism in terms of colouring in. I'm not good at it. And so the other part that I have done is I've used a little bit of the mauve in the, let me see if I can bring that up for you. Yep, in the little flowers you'll see there. Well, let me just get that. Oh, cameras. Seriously, I'm not good at those either. There we go. There's some mauve, and I've used the blush on the little pits there. You'll see that though. So I'm going to do the little flowers with a bit of mauve. And again, you can, like I said, you can use your Highland Heather, or there's a new colour that's come out in the new catalogue. I can't tell you what they are because I can't remember. I've got 2 colours out of them, but I haven't got all of them just yet. But they will be available with the new catalogue release. And I'm sure they've been online because they're allowed to be released, those colours. So you probably would have seen them by now. If you haven't got long to wait. I haven't got long to wait for anything. Is this year going quick or what? Oh my gosh. Okay, so there is the purple highlights in the little purple flowers. See, just looks cute the way it is. No dimension, just one colour. Perfect. And then I've used the blush on the tiny little, I sort of look at these little images here, these little things, as little cotton buds. I know they're not, but I just thought, you know, blush is going to be really nice for this. I'm not going to put any other colour. I did use, previously when I used a red, and it because I thought they were like berries, and I really liked them, but I thought it was a little bit hard. I wanted to maintain a softness about it because I love soft flowers. And red, that's hard to actually perfect in terms of getting a balance, I think. So you're just going around all the little, there's a couple little budded, and there's a little tiny buds. So there we go. See, that just looks fine. Nicely balanced, and it's pretty. You don't need anything else. So if you wanted to do a little bit of darkness on the flower, you just get your darker colour of the two if you want to. And all I did in terms of colouring is I just went around the edges, and I'll show you. I wonder if I can bring that in a bit for you to see. Maybe. So I've just gone around the edges and just put in a little bit of dark colour. But you really don't have to, because once you see it, you know, you can't unsee it. That's as true of a lot of things, but it's okay if you haven't got it. It really doesn't make much difference. And principally what they do is they go in with the darker colour, and then they, some of the colourists come back in with the lighter colour and blend it all in, which they can. But you know, you've got, like I said before, you've got to start somewhere, and it's a good place to start with just one and get used to using one. Okay, so you probably can't see it, but you can see how I put a little bit of dimension into it. So the colour's just not flat. It's got a little bit of dimension in it. So that's all you need, really, if you wanted to just start doing that. Just go around the edges of the print, which is what I've done. If you can see here, just go around those edges like that. And you will get like a little bit of a extra colouring around the edges. And that's all. Don't go into the centre, just go around the edges, and that will give you that dimension that you're looking for. Hope that helps. So a little bit of dimension, nothing amazing, and then just go back in if you want with your extra colour. Look, I'm not even probably colouring it, you know, probably these colourists, I hope no professionals are watching, because you're probably going, oh my god, what's she doing? Because it's not, you know, for me it's not really the only thing that is important to me in crafting. Colouring, it's all important to me, but I like to not get too obsessed with things, because I can get obsessed quite easily. There you go. So that looks kind of pretty. Like, I don't have a problem with that at all. So it's one layering and that's it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go and cut this out. And I'm just going to get my cutter, my die, and I'm going to pop this on. Just take these off so that you can see. And you'll see what I mean when it comes to lining up. Oh, very slippery sidey, aren't they? I just noticed, like when I was putting them on before, you'll see here that when I just get it in alignment, which is not hard to do, there we go. Just hold that down with a bit of tape, and oh, there we go. So you can see when you look closely at it, the die actually takes up a good size, which means it just doesn't leave a lot of white cardstock on the cut. And that's nice, because you get a really nice finish. Okay, I'm just going to go off and put you on hold, and I will be back after I've cut this. Okay, so we've got our little image that's been cut out, and as you can see, if you look closely, the white on around the image is actually quite tiny. The die is actually getting quite close to the image, which I really like, but I'm not sure if that's my imagination or not, but I think they've changed the dies in some way. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things you either like or don't like. Not really relevant at this point in time. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Versamark for the background, and I'm going to use that same stamp set that for the image, and just use Versamark on the background. I've already gone ahead, and ideally I prefer to do this after I've stamped rather than before I've stamped. I've already gone ahead and done the label, for our sentiment. I've cut out the little label, and for this one I've cut out the frame, and this is using the rectangle stitch framelit dies. This is number 2, and this is just one to fit your sentiment in. So I've already cut them out, but normally I like to stamp and then cut them out, because you always cut out a few extra bits and pieces that you don't need. But anyway, just to save time, I've done it this way. So now we're just going to create a background, and I've also changed the card format. I'm using 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.5. I'm using it that way rather than the other way. I hope that makes sense, just for a bit of a change. All right, so we're just going to put some Versamark on our image. I think initially I thought that I had used grey granite, but I hadn't. I'd actually used Versamark. Grey granite's a little bit stronger in terms of image than I wanted. Okay, so you probably can't see it. You can see it in real life. There you go. You can see it sort of like relatively close, but it looks nice. Let me put it that way. Okay. All right, that should do it. So Versamark on grey granite. And then we're going to be popping that onto our white cardstock. Looks pretty, doesn't it? But before we do that, we're going to be doing our image and our sentiment. Looks nice just like that. We're going to do a little sentiment here, and we are going to be using the sentiment from With Friendly Thoughts and Best Wishes for Today. Wishes today and every day for Floral Essence. So just get that out. And we'll get the, shall we use the stamp rubbers? Yes. Oh, yes, we will. If I can find what I've done with it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, so we need a little bit, because we're going to do some white embossing. So we're going to need our little, what do we call these? I never remember these things. We're using them. And we're going to use up some Versamark again to stamp with, and some white embossing powder to make our image clear. Yep, that looks good. Some white embossing powder. Getting it everywhere as usual. There we go. I'll just turn on my heat gun so it's nice and hot. Just scratch off that little tiny dot there. Yep, that looks good. And I'll just move it away from the paper, because if you do it on paper, it warps the paper and it's annoying afterwards. Lovely. There we go. Let's see if you can see it. Nice. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got our little sentiment. I'm thinking, yeah, that looks all right. Or maybe I should put it just directly under there. That looks good too, doesn't it? Ugh, that's horrible. I hate that gritty stuff. And I say that every time I use embossing powder and every time I do a tutorial. So sorry guys, I do get repetitive with things. Okay. Alright, and then I think I did use some linen thread, which I'm nearly onto the next packet. So I will do that as well. Just around the top. have a little bit hanging down. Or up in this case. Needs a little bit of tweaking. But that's okay, we can tweak it. Okay. Doesn't want to, does it? Maybe it's the way I tied it, which wouldn't surprise me. Why doesn't it? You know what? We would cheat and we would just move that to the top so it hangs down the other way. How's that? Don't know why, but that's going to work better. All right, so then we've got our flower, our sentiment, and I'm going to use some double-sided foam to pop up the flower, and I'm also going to use some bling. I'm going to do this flower first. Because it's nice to give these flowers a bit of height. They look really lovely with a bit of height. Oops, sorry, out of camera there. Yeah, I'm thinking that's kind of okay. I might just make this a little bit shorter. There we go. And I'll do the same with the sentiment. I'll put some tape on, double-sided tape. And again, I might just let's have a look. Do we want that there or on the side? I don't know. I'm thinking I'm kind of liking it here for now. It'll probably change later, but that's okay. It's up to you where you put these things. Okay, and then of course onto our mainframe card, which is here. Doesn't that look adorable? Wow. Okay, so I'm just going to put some more dimensionals, but little dimensionals. I'm not going to use the double-sided tape on it, so I'll use our normal ones on the back of this. Although you could use double-sided tape or foam tape or whatever. Yes, I did do a little bit of a test on the back there for something. As you can see, that's the grey granite look. You might like that grey granite look, but I actually preferred the softer look, which was the Versamark. But you never know. You've got to try these things to find out. Come on, there we go. Okay. Let's have a look. Do our lining up. Using our grid mat as much as possible. As much as possible without destroying it. Goodness me. Is that straight? I hope so. Okay, there we go. Looking good. Okay, and then we've got just a few gold embellishments on the grey granite. Look really nice, which are our faceted gems. So I'm going to use probably not as many as I used on the other card. I'm not sure, but certainly a few just to make it look spectacular. Yeah. Should we use one more? Maybe. Up here. There we go. Whew. Okay, so that's it. That is the sneak peek that is coming your way very soon. So I do hope you like this card. And obviously this card Oh, is that up the right way? No, it's not. So you can have any way you like, really. I'm not sure which one I like the most. I think I like this one better now. I don't know. Anyway, that's them. This is the new stamp set and die set that you will be able to access very soon, in a few weeks. And I will come back and put the links into the bottom here where it says show more. But any of the other products that currently are available will have links directly to the shop down below. So you can just click, go shop and do whatever it is that you want to do. So please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with me today. And I will see you soon with a new tutorial, hopefully, very shortly, because I've got lots of new products coming our way. And look forward to it till then. Okay, take care. Have a great, what is it, midweek, beginning of the week? Yeah, have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.